Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, you have the itch for the Switch here on the Switch It Up Show. My name is Glenn and I will be your host today as we talk about all things Nintendo Switch related, and I am joined by my partner in crime, Mr. Cetrav.
What's going on, everybody?
I'm gonna go ahead
that
and...
intro.
Oh, dude, I only do the best. And speaking of the best, we make sure that we provide you with the best coverage about the Nintendo Switch with the best soundtrack in the biz. Be sure to check out the notes for the show so you can go ahead and listen to some of this music on your own time. But as a one-time favor, I'm going to go ahead and let it play for you. And we're going to go ahead and roll right on into the inventory. I hope you guys enjoyed that little segment there. The inventory is the kind of, moment that we take to collect ourselves and talk a little bit about what it is that we are playing currently on the Nintendo Switch. Mr. Seth, hit me with what you got going on in the world of the Switch.
I got the game we're talking about today. I've been playing a lot of BulbBoy. I've been loving it. Don't want to get too much into it. Other than that, I'm still doing Desiga. I don't know why. I love Desiga 5. I'm having a great time with it. Like I said, it's a 4 out of 5 game. Go back, listen to it. Great time. Definitely loving that. What about you, man?
Awesome, dude. Yeah, Desiga, I'm glad you're still getting some mileage out of that thing. I mean, that is an intense RPG with like dozens of hours. So,
oh my god, so many hours.
Dude, I'm glad you're still enjoying it. Let me tell you something. I fired up Splatoon for the first time this past, earlier this week. And I'm in, man. Splatoon is a great time. It coming from the world of Destiny, where the PvP is like kind of the matches can just get like so sweaty sometimes. It's so intense. Splatoon is the exact opposite. You don't really have to worry about like how many people you take down. It's all about there's different objective-based ones, but the one I like the most is got to be where you're just running around the map trying to cover the world with as much color of paint as possible, and you can be a really good player and score really well without necessarily like taking out the most people. In fact, you don't really score that many points, if any, doing that. There's all types of leveling up your gear and looking for different perks, with the clothes that you wear. So it satisfies that kind of like Destiny need that I have as I wait for Destiny 2. But it's just in like a more fun, whimsical way. Having a lot of fun with Splatoon. You need to get this game. We could be having a good time.
I might have to get it. I might get it this weekend.
Thank you. Please take a look out for that. But be sure to let us know, what you're playing out there, because even though we do play a lot, we review a lot of different games, we miss stuff. We're not perfect. I know you think we're perfect by those 5-star reviews that you're leaving us in the App Store. But please let us know. Go ahead, reach out to us over on @SwitchItUpShow. We would love to kind of open that dialogue, exchange those friend codes, and have a good time. And speaking about having a good time, why don't we go ahead and talk about some of the things that are happening in the world of the Switch in our next section. It is called Potent Power-Ups, where we kind of just discuss what's going on in the news, in the world of the Switch. And there's a couple things that I want to go ahead and bring up today. First off, it's been announced that Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2 are coming to the Nintendo Switch. I actually have not played Resident Evil Revelations 1 or 2. They've been on like so many different systems at this point, but for some reason I just still haven't had a chance to pick them up. And I think they're getting remastered on PS4, which is like insane. But I don't know. I will definitely grab them for on the Switch because they come in like a dual pack. So I'm excited, man. What about you? Any interest in playing Resident Evil Revelations?
I don't recall exactly what goes on in Revelations. Who's that follow?
I'm sure. I have no idea, man. I've never played them. But I do love Resident Evil.
I would like to do it then.
Right?
Love the franchise. It's a great franchise, and to have it on the Switch is just incredible. Like that's gonna be a great time.
That's my goal, man. I want to have as many things on the Switch as possible. I want the Switch to really be like my main console. When I say that PlayStation 4 is my Destiny machine, I legit mean it. Like, I play a couple other things on there, but for the most part, like, I really want to make the Switch to the Switch. That didn't really rhyme. It sounded better in my mind.
Got there.
Thank
You're
you.
working it out.
Thank you. I'm trying. I'm doing the best I can. But one thing I think you will be excited for, since we're talking about some news and new games that are being announced, not necessarily new releases. We'll get to that. I know you're excited. But the Telltale series of Batman actually got leaked earlier. You're big on the Telltale Batman. Yeah.
Leak.
Yeah, it's been uncovered that it's going to be coming out. Apparently, they found out that there's going to be an upcoming Switch release.
Oh my god!
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah, I
The
haven't
answer's
finished
yes.
the first one yet. I'm gonna definitely play through it. It's gonna be on our YouTube, because I want to go back and finish it up. I only did the first 2 chapters, so I have all 6 chapters of the first one. But if the second one is gonna be on the Switch, I kind of want to get it on there.
Although I wonder if it's like some of the other Telltale games where, I know with Telltale The Walking Dead, if how it takes your choices from the previous one, there's no way that even if the next chapter of The Walking Dead came out on Switch, I couldn't leave my progress and my choices behind on the last console. I'd have to be able to pick up right where I left off. So I don't know. Maybe.
Who's to say?
Who's to say? Yes, sir. Well, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for our news segment. It's a little quiet in the segment of news. And speaking of quiet segments, we actually are going to roll into the new releases category, which we like to call Press Continue. And we have really just one Mr. Trav release coming out, but I feel like this release is right up your alley. Have you heard anything about any of the releases this week at all?
Not a one.
Not a
one
one.
word.
Not a one. Now, what's one of your big categories of games that you're talking about lately? If I fire up the PlayStation, what are you playing?
Gems of War.
Gems of War, yes, sir. And this week, actually tomorrow, we get Puzzle Adventure Blockle. Okay, Puzzle Adventure Blockle. Yes, sir. This looks like a cross between. I don't really know how to explain it. It almost looks like a combination of a 2D platformer, Your Gems game, and also the wonderful, and I am not exaggerating at all, the wonderful Levels Plus game that we reviewed on the last episode. It looks really, really whimsical. There's all types of anime characters. You have to collect all these different pieces in order to complete the different stages. It's a rotating puzzle game, so kind of think the bonus stage in Sonic 1, which was actually one of my favorite parts.
Wow.
It looks really, really cool. I am crossing my fingers that we get to talk about this in an upcoming episode. But we will see. The game looks really fun. I recommend that you go ahead and at least check it out over on the eShop. It is $7.99. It is Puzzle Adventure Blockle. That is the only game coming out this week on the Switch. They're keeping it quiet, but that's okay. It's all right. There's a lot of games on the Switch, so it's important to pace yourself.
There are a lot of games out currently for it. Definitely let us know what you're playing over at Switch It Up Show.
Yes, sir. Over on the Twitter.
Reachcast on Instagram.
Yeah, we take a lot of
Twitter.
pictures. A lot of pictures of all our games on there, I gotta say.
Got a lot of Nintendo pictures on there. You'd love it.
Yeah, you would. You should follow. And then lastly, sir, we're going to go ahead and roll into what we like to call the Let's Play, where we do a little bit of review. Now, what game are you going to be hitting us with this week? And it's by you, I mean us. What are we bringing to the people?
Gonna be hitting you with BulbBoy, a game mentioned a little bit earlier. It is a heck of a game, man. I was not really expecting it to be what it is. It plays sort of like that game Alone in the Dark, I think. It's almost a Burton-esque game, art style, I want to say. It's definitely a horror game, like a kid's horror story type of game, adventure sort of thing. What genre would you even place this in?
It's weird because when I saw all the different screenshots for it, I wasn't really sure what to expect. When I looked at it, it looks like a 2D platformer, but there's a lot more going on, more to it than that. It's really kind of reminded me as I started to play it, believe it or not, it reminded me of Sam and Max. Did you ever play any of those games?
A lot like Sam and Max. It's got that kind of Sam and Max art style.
like that weird like type of like it looks like I mean, this looks like a little more like you said, Tim Burton-esque version of like a cartoon. But I mean, I love like point and click adventures, and I had no idea that that's what this was. You know, I fired it up and I was like, oh, there's like more of a story
I thought
here.
it was gonna be a platformer, same as you.
Yeah, I mean, I was pleasantly surprised because I was like, oh, like this is neat. Like I didn't know they made I didn't know that they made games like this still. You know, that were like super popular. But you know, I did. It's weird because you really feel bad for BulbBoy. Like it seems like in the beginning,
you really get a connection to the guy.
You do, man. When he gets hurt, you like cringe. You know, there are certain points where like the monsters and stuff will like throw him, and like when he hits the wall, he just like cries and he like it's I don't know, man. It pulls on the heartstrings.
The sound design in this game is pretty intense as well. Like the music, really on point. It really helps create that atmosphere. Great atmospheric game. They give you that vibe, man. They really do. The almost sim-like talking that they do to each other is really great.
Yeah, their description is a multi-award-winning 2D horror puzzle adventure about a boy with a glowing head. One gloomy night, BulbBoy wakes suddenly from a frightening nightmare to discover that evil has overshadowed the Bulb House. His family has disappeared and there are horrid monsters lurking in the shadows. Gather the courage to use his glass head to save everything he loves. BulbBoy is an intuitive 2D point-and-click horror adventure about a boy with a glowing head. Alright, it's a bulb. Inspired by Manchurium and goblins. Solve puzzles, defeat wicked monsters, and reveal BulbBoy's abilities to unfold a twisted tale. And don't forget to save your grandpa Raffin and Moth Dog from the frightening darkness. Like I said, man, they do a great job at really making you care about BulbBoy. And because of that, you want him to succeed and you want to do well. Even though this is like a 2D point and click, like I was surprised because there's not too many games I play now where I'm like, oh man, like I care about what's gonna happen to this person. You know, it didn't. Don't get me wrong, it didn't grab me like you know, like The Walking Dead does, like the Telltale. Like it wasn't like that where I'm like on the edge of my seat and like I will have a breakdown if if one of the main characters dies. But at the same time, like there's more here than meets the eye. This currently is $8.99 over in the eShop. I would definitely recommend that you guys go ahead and pick this up. It's a fun time. But at the same time, it's not quite like I would not play this like as a pickup and then like, you know, oh, I've got 10 minutes, let me play BulbBoy. I probably wouldn't do that. I would want a little bit more time to do it because the puzzles are pretty or they're not difficult, but there's multiple steps to them and it takes time. And going into it, I first thought that this is something I could play a level. It's like a side scroller. It's not like that at all.
No, not one bit. It's very story driven, which is interesting.
Yeah, man.
They present the story in a very interesting way, but I love the game. What would you rate it?
I'd probably give this one. Do we still do halves?
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and give this one a 3.5. Man, I'm happy with this.
3.5.
Yeah.
I'm going full 4.
You going full 4? That's fine, man.
Full 4.
That's fine. You know, I can't take it away. It wasn't quite what I was expecting. So you know that is my fault.
I was pleasantly surprised with what I got.
Well, don't get me wrong. Like I was happily surprised. Maybe I'm being a little bit harsh on it. But I think what hinders me is that like I love like games that I can just kind of, on Switch where I can kind of just pick it up and like, you know, get a couple rounds in and kind of move on. But there's a little bit more here, which is great. You just have to be ready for it. So that's just something to keep in mind, you know, when you're looking at picking it up. But I definitely think that you should. This is one that I'm happy to have on the shelf. But we want to know about some of the games that you're adding to your Switch shelf. Ugh. What are you collecting? What games are you getting into? Because even though, you know, the Switch library is large, sometimes you can still get bored, and if you do, be sure to switch it up.